Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and evening to everyone joining us for the first ever Kyoken AMA. We're all so glad to have you here. While more people trickle in, we're just going to do a brief run through about how our AMA is going to be structured. So basically, we'll just have a brief introduction about Kyoken from our founders who are joining us today. Then we'll move on to questions we have collected from our Discord AMA channel. Followed by that, if you have any questions that you want to ask us right now, you can join us on our YouTube channel and make sure to show us some love, subscribe, say hi. And if you have any questions, we'll be monitoring that as well. And we'll collect them and we'll be asked that after our AMA questions we've collected from Discord. Also, we want to remind everyone to please stay till the end. We have some special prizes for those dedicated listeners, and we'll be keeping an eye. And I'm a very awake right now, so I'll definitely make sure I'm keeping a close eye on that. Um, okay, so today we're joined by the founder of Kyoken. You guys know him as the tastemaker. He's the creative brain and the main man with the plan. Cody Wampler at heart with a passion for learning, Eric Lee. We're also joined by our village chief. On Discord, we affectionately call him the Pervy Sage, but today I'll be introducing him as Ben, a puzzle aficionado who's the glue that keeps the Kyoken spaceship running smoothly. And hello, I am Jichu. I am a community moderator who you also can we also call them key keepers at Kyoken. You'll probably see me mostly in the pet chat channel, where I'll be looking forward to seeing all your pictures of your furry family members. And I'll be moderating this AMA. So without further ado, I will ask Eric and Ben to kind of give a brief introduction or anything like that, and then we'll jump into the questions.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Eric. So basically, I'm the founders of the Kyoken itself. Yeah. Okay, so I'm a designer as a background. Basically, I ran a design agency based in Singapore as well as Myanmar and Bhutan as well. Um, so I've been in this business for about 20 years, and as well as I've been a digital educator for about 10 over years. Yeah, so my passion is quite in the what digital space. So why I start this Kyoken thing is more towards to, s- to stretch my itch. Yeah, basically is to solve some of the problems that I face, and hope that maybe in terms of in the long run, in times to be, I can be what I contribute to this what I call uh, crypto or maybe a digital space, and how I can help to the society, etc. Yeah, I mean I can explain more later on as we go on. Okay, moving on to Toby. Yeah.
Hi everybody. This is my first time in on the Twitter space, and so good morning, good evening to everyone wherever you are. Thanks to Teachu for hosting this, and thanks for everyone for tuning in as well live, and also whoever that is going to be listening to this recording later on. Maybe that's a little background on myself. I come from a finance background. I was a banker for about 14 years, working in the MNC bank in Singapore. After which, about 3 to 4 years ago, I left the bank to join the asset management space. So basically, I manage clients' investments. Traditionally, I've been investing mostly into equities, fixed income, derivatives, all those boring stuff. But recently, in the last few months as well, I've been starting to look more into digital assets like NFTs, cryptos, and I do see there is actually a trend going into this space, especially fund managers. They're looking all for alpha and looking for the next trend, which is Web 3.0. Um, so that's where actually I'm emphasizing a lot of my time right now. I basically also run my own company as well, also into fund management. But for the past few months, I let my business run by some other people who I trust, so that I can focus a lot more into Kyoken with this journey with Eric. So I think there'll be a question later about how we know each other, so maybe I shall not go into that. But basically, my background is, to summarize, it's always been in finance. I look into private equity deals, VCs, alternatives as well. So, how I add value in this is, I think it's more in the long term, how we actually see this NAT project growing into a brand and potentially also becoming a powerhouse in Southeast Asia and Asia region as well. So yeah, so maybe I'll stop there and we can continue on with the questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben and Eric, for sharing a bit about yourselves. And Ben was exactly right. We're going to dive into our first question, which is all to do about how you guys know each other. So the first question is from Jesse. They want to say, "Hi, guys. First of all, congratulations for the project and good luck as well." They ask, "How did you guys come up with the ideas of these cute bunnies and how did the team meet? Did you guys know each other?" I think whoever wants to start, I think Eric and Ben, we're excited to hear about this story, this origin story.
Okay, sure. Regarding the bunnies and those the bears and the cats itself, right? Initially, when we start this project itself, we want to define the characters of the whichever one going to be. So we start with the shapes. I think you can read out some of the posts that we talk about the shapes and how the shapes defines the character base. Then we feel that cats defines more to the triangle shapes. The bear starts to be more on the strength, so it refers back to the square, and the bunnies tend to be a soft side, so it refers back to the circle itself. Yeah, then there will be one more characters and so forth. But along the way, we find that we want to create more characters with different kinds of emotions or different kind of expressions. So I don't think we're going to stop here in terms of bear, in terms of the rabbit, the cat itself. As you can see, the last few things is that we try to introduce the fish, the anglerfish.
Yes.
Then as we move on, right, I feel that everyone is unique. Yeah, everyone wants to have
Mhm.
something to represent themselves. So we've tried to explore, right? But the whole concept is the skull thing. Yeah, we still revolve around the skull concept. Just that in terms of the personal characters, it starts to mold it out along the way. Yeah, so we try to craft the story behind it. Um, it's kind of like soft world building that we try to think of relationships and how these characters generate some kind of characteristics. Then this is where the audio will come in that reflects each individual characters. Yeah. So that's the whole concept of the animals thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Then regarding the name, etc., is the Q was more towards the togetherness, or maybe like the Kyoken tends to be like the Street Fighters and the Kyoken kind of stuff. Yeah, so I feel that because our mission was tends to be empowering. Yeah, so I still feel that maybe Kyoken tends to be like give you that sense of powerness or give you some kind of strength and in terms of togetherness. Yeah, so that's how it came about to me and the animals. Yeah, maybe Ben was to say about how we met.
Okay, so I'll take the next question. So, if Eric and I have known each other for many years. In fact, we both in Singapore we do have to serve national service, so we that's how we met. That was about 24 years ago, actually. So we known each
Oh,
other for a
wow.
long time. Yeah, I think that considers us as boomers actually. Yeah, so I think in the previous, I think yesterday as well in the Discord, we were talking about our age. So yeah, a bit of that. I think how if you have watched Pinky and the Brain, Eric is like the brain. I'm like Pinky, so he's the brains behind the designs, the art, and he's the one who creates everything. And I've seen how he has done his work. He's always innovating, creating, thinking about new ways to improve his designs. Which is, to be honest, I have been I think degenerating in this NFT space for since October. So I'm not say very experienced, but I've seen a lot of projects, and um, I see that how he has changed, try to improve. So I think this is something which I'm very proud of. For myself, I try to work on the other aspects of the project, the operational aspects, the community, so that I can let him express himself artistically while not worrying so much about the back end. So that's where I come in. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, that's a space why my head is so big now. Yeah, but yeah, see, when met in the army and basically we contribute. I mean, we all have their own strengths. Yeah, so it's sometimes a very good cross pollination. Yeah, so he's more to the finance side, more to the design side, etc. There's one more guy who's more to the developing side. Um, so it's quite I feel it's sometimes a very Singapore terms a quite a good project. Yeah, it's quite a good mix.
Yeah, and we have a team that Eric, because he's managing his design agency as well, Fruit. So a lot of the staff, the key keepers, are actually also helping us, which we're very blessed. They are from various countries, like from Bhutan and Myanmar. So we have diversity in that sense. Um, yeah, I think also how we see this is that we see this as a passion project. We are looking at this in the long term. That's why when we first started this project in February, when I think NFTs were actually at its peak, we still wanted to launch only in quarter 2 because we feel that in order to go for the long term and basically add value to the community and ensure that their investment, their faith in us is actually well secured. We wanted to first ensure that we build a very strong utility and art behind the project. So that hasn't changed. In fact, right now, we do see that we could possibly um, launch still in quarter 2, or it might take later, but not to worry because at the end of the day, what we are planning to do is that we even produce results before the mint so that actually there is some visibility of where we are going forth. So we will talk more about the roadmap later, but yeah, we can talk more about it later. Over to you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Ben and Eric. I love the analogy of Pinky in the Brain. I was a big fan of those Saturday morning cartoons. Um, okay, so we're moving on to the next question. It comes from Dex. They say the co-founder's name is Pervy. This is an opportunity to provide a background on this name. It is important that everyone, especially women, feel safe in this space and other NFT communities. Thank you. So I think since it's about Ben's name, I'm going to toss it to Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Dex, for this question. In fact, when I first came out with this name, um, to be honest, I didn't see it from that perspective. So thanks for sharing that. But the reason why I chose that name is because one of my favorite anime of all time was actually Naruto. And this Pervy Sage actually is one of the characters in the anime. And basically, Pervy Sage is actually the mentor for the protagonist of the anime, which is Naruto. Lah. So I always find that I always love his character because he's very carefree, very he loves to share, and of course he's like a mentor. He's like a father figure to
Yeah.
Naruto, and that is how I see
Mhm.
myself as well. I mean, at this stage of my life, I've already have about 17, 18 years of working experience, and um, I've always tried to take up more opportunities to mentor younger people who are entering the finance space. Even in my previous bank as well, we used to have this community called the Generational Diversity Committee, and I was actually the chair of the community. And we talk a lot more about stereotypes, about how the different generations, how they are slightly different, but also there are a lot of commonalities in every generation. So you can be in a boomer generation, but you can still be very savvy and very in tune with the tech. Or you could be, a Gen Y, and you may not know what's going on in the tech space. So I think we need to see how we can find commonalities and try not to distinguish ourselves too much, so that we can work together. So that's the whole reason why I chose Publicage. But I get what people might feel, that it might be maybe too sexist. So actually, I'm going to be changing the name later on. But I mean, most people will probably know me for my for my actual name, which is Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be revealing more about myself towards the end. I mean later on in a few weeks' time, lah. But I mean now I'm kind of like semi-docs because I'm also regulated in terms of my financial activity. And, in Singapore, financial in this space is the crypto space and the NFT space is not regulated. So I need to be a bit cautious about that. But it doesn't affect. It's not in conflict with what I do on in my business as well. So I don't see there's any issue. So look out for that later on.
Cool, cool. Thank you, Ben, for sharing. As a Naruto fan, and also as someone who knows Ben personally, I can vouch that he's very dedicated and very respectful to space. And as also a woman in NFT, just joining you and also learning a lot, I appreciate the effort to kind of be inclusive and supportive. So thank you so much, Ben. We move on to the next question. It comes from Sensei Kikuchi. They ask, where did you get the inspiration for all the existentialism, postmodernism come from? What are your guys' backgrounds? Are you Japanese? That was a lot of words.
Oh, okay. We're not Japanese, so we just love the culture. That's all. Yeah. But in terms of those kind of thoughts itself, right, it's basically more towards personal experiences. I have um, I would say two times near death experiences. I would say that when I was there's one time when my heart skipped a beat. That was when I was 12 years old. Then when I was 15, 16 years old, um, my friends played a game where they try to choke my neck for about 3 seconds, etc. Then you will pass on kind of things. Yeah, so you have this kind of like near death experience itself, right? You tend to ask, okay, what's next after the those kind of stuff. Yeah, so I was quite intrigued that kind of questions and where will we go after here? What's our purpose of life here? So that's where that set myself like my own philosophy of course is that um, once you know your expiry date, priorities in life will change. Yeah, so that's why we try to, for my case, right, I will try to assume that my expiry date is maybe next 1 or 2 years. I'll try to accomplish as much things as possible, meaningful things. Right? It's not like I won't say chasing the corporate ladders or the money is negative thing. It's just that my priorities in life tends to take shift because of this kind of thoughts. Yeah. So
Mhm.
so that is where I get concept from, as well as movies like Interstellars, this kind of
Yeah.
inceptions kind of stuff. It starts to question is there a multiverse rather than metaverse? Is there a multiverse? Those kind of thoughts. Yeah. So basically, all my designs is basically based on that. Is that um, there's this futurist talking about cocoon. Yeah, it says that because of technology itself, right, people tends to be cocoon in this silo itself. Yeah, once we put on earphones, we tends to be very silo modes. Yeah, so basically the whole
Mhm.
bubble thing itself, right, just interpretations that once we put on it itself, we tends to be isolating ourselves in this kind of world where we try to
Mhm.
handle ourselves from other places. But we have this kind of animal instincts, like maybe in terms of strength, in terms of the softness or kindness, whichever you are. So that's where animals comes about. So basically, the whole design is based on that concept. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Thank you,
So
Eric, for sharing. Yeah, I think I'm a also big fan of Inception and those type of movies that kind of make you think. And I think at Kyoken we try to tackle some of those questions. Okay,
okay.
cool. Sorry, did you have anything
No,
you
it's
wanted to
okay.
add?
It's okay.
Okay, okay, sounds good. Now we're gonna move on a bit to more of the development side of Kyoken, and our first question from there is from Abikas, who I hope he's had a good time helping his friends move this weekend. His first question is, how do you plan on realizing the buildings and plans that you have for Kyoken Village? Maybe Eric, I can ask you to speak on this, and Ben can join in.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, so the question is, how are we going to realize the building of the Kyoken village itself? Okay, so the Kyoken village itself is based on concept when I went for backpacking. Solo backpacking actually is to the from Myanmar to Chiang Mai to Laos to southern China, Osaka, etc. Yeah, along the way itself, I came across in Chiang Mai. There's this called Artist Village. This Artist Village, right, tends to be quite interesting, where there's it's a very small village where all these various stores itself, right, will have different kind of expertise as well as their specialties, etc. So every month itself, right, they will kind of come together and discuss, okay, what are we going to sell this month? So for example, they're going to sell chocolate. Okay, so for the stores that's trying to sell books, right, they'll say, okay, let me introduce the the chocolate books. Okay, then the other say the cafe will say, okay, then at this month I was trying to sell a chocolate drinks. Then the tailor itself, right, I would try to sell something like chocolate themed shirts, etc. Yeah, what drives me towards the kind of interest in that area is just that very different from the things we're having now. It seems that because I mean I'm not sure about other countries itself. When you start a business itself, right, you tend people will see you're doing very well, and you try to copy it, and you copy it right the opposite. I mean opposite of your shops itself. It's very different from a village where everyone will try to contribute ideas and try to share resources and try to
Mm-hmm.
complement each other. Yeah, so it helps to make the whole ecosystem stronger rather than try to eat up the resources. I, I share these thoughts with some of my friends. They were talking about game theory, things say they need to have this kind of game competition, etc. But I feel that it's for a small owners itself, right? This tends to be very depleting. And then I feel that this, as well as Web3, I feel that Web3 has a very good ideas of decentralizing. I feel that decentralizing as well as sharing resources like the artist bridge itself, right, tends to be moving in the same direction, I mean, the right direction. It helps to make the um, whole things much more beautiful. Then I was asking around. Then I realized that it's based on the economies, Schumachers, small is beautiful. Then I take a look at that book, economist book, etc. Then I feel that okay, to build this kind of Kyoken village stuff, right? I don't have to build it by myself actually. Uh, Actually, I just need to empower a few person to drive this. So that's where the Kyoken come in to empower this kind of individual who wants to move to this kind of concepts and this kind of ideas, and how Kyoken will helps to empower them accordingly, maybe in terms of sharing resources as well as connecting the dots, etc. Yeah, so if you're interested, right, you can try to read out this book called Small is Beautiful. It's quite an interesting economist book. Then I've
Mm-hmm.
realized that after that, I move on from travel to Laos, to southern China, as well as the northern part of Myanmar. I feel that on top itself, I've been in Bhutan as well. I haven't been there yet, but I read is that on the northern part of Asia, they're having these kind of concepts where sharing economy kind of thing, not in terms of like the Uber, but it's more of the sharing resources and how to sharing the knowledge itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to how I go and build it itself, right? Just goes back to my army experiences where
Mm-hmm.
I was being told. I mean, I was me and Dan was in the same camp where I was being told to in charge of logistics for 100 packs, 100 company size. Yeah, then I was kind of lost in how do I manage 100% logistics. Yeah, and I was not a very high ranking. Basically, I'm a more corporate rank. So to manage this kind of higher packs or higher 50 packs of logistics is quite hard for me. Then my sergeant majors told me that you don't have to be in charge of the 120 packs or 150 packs. All you need to do, right, is to be in charge of 3 to 4 key personnel. Yeah, and these 3 4 key personnel, right, will try to drive all those your logistics plans, etc. So what he told me, right, yeah, it's kind of makes sense to me. I don't have to in charge of every single thing itself. All I need to do is to assign 3 or 4 packs, sharing my ideas and my objective,
Mm.
and sharing our resources as well. Then this whole thing will move by its own. We are not. I mean, if you are into Web3, so it's all about decentralizing. Decentralizing is all about trust. You need to hand over the resources to all, and that is where the whole things will move on. Yeah, it's kind of funny is that some of we are doing a decentralizing projects like NFT, but at the end of it, right, we are doing this kind of like some. I mean, some project will move on to be a centralized product. Yeah. So what we try to do right for Kyoken itself is try to test and validate is that besides using NFT, we understand NFT is a distributed, non decentralized product. How can we adapt it to decentralized um, logistics, management, education, etc. Yeah, so this is something that Kyoken Labs would like to experiment and play around with it. And for us to build those villages itself, right, I feel that we just need to find the right persons and empowering them with the right resources and right connections, right? We'll back him up and things will move much faster than a centralized manner. Yeah. So hope that's answered the questions. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Eric. That was very in depth. I like seeing how it was kind of part of your personal life as well as some of the things you've read up, and it's all interconnected. The next question we have from Avikas is: are there going to be people that you hire that run the separate institutions, or is it going to be fully based off of the community?
Okay, so I think I'll take that. I think I briefly
Right.
touched on this question that we are actually going to be definitely want to involve the community. And I think if ideally, if that's the case, we would like to engage, definitely involve more of the community to kind of like build up the brand of Kyogen, not only in the metaverse, but also in real life as well. And that's where we are actually going. We're trying to bridge the metaverse with real life kind of utilities. Because we don't think that it may take a few years. We see that with the metaverse at this part is a very early stage right now. We need possibly good infrastructure. Like we need 5G in order for the metaverse to be you know functional for everyone to actually spend more time in it.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to see how we can build real life kind of privileges and utilities and what Eric was saying, like artistic village as well. So that's why we will definitely need to involve people on the ground in various countries, not just Asia, but also in Europe, in the US as well. We want to be able to link up all the good ideas that we have and try to build a better community, a better world as well.
Wow, thank you so much, Ben. That's a nice sentiment to end that question on. We move to the next user who asked us is Mez134. They say congratulations on the success of the project and the Discord community. Their question is regarding Project Aurelius. If you guys could share some information regarding what it will consist of, and if there is a timeline regarding this release. Since I know this is Ben's baby, I will pass it to him.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that question. It's a very good question. And it was actually one of the um, utilities that we have in the roadmap. So, as I mentioned earlier, I have been in the financial space for quite a number of years, and especially in the last 3 years, I have I've been in the asset management space. I'm also have also created the offices for several multi-family offices in Singapore. So I understand there is actually a gap in terms of a platform that a lot of these small, medium enterprises use to aggregate their customer data in a way that is secure, that is compliant with regulations. A lot of the banks they have their own resources they can build from scratch, and they have a lot of money to do that. But smaller firms which manage also quite a sizable AUM of client funds do not are able to invest into those kind of technology. So that's where um, me and another friend and also Eric as well, who is also a Web 2 developer, a Web 2.0 developer, has also created a software that all these small medium enterprises could use. And we have already tested out. We have MPB as well. We had used it with several clients, and they are. I mean, we are actually already generating some form of revenue. We want to scale it. We want to move it on to the second to third phase, whereby we also want to be able to allow these financial institutions to aggregate um, how to say digital assets as well. So that's
Mhm.
where we are going to use part of the assets to allocate into this development of this platform. And in the future as well, you'll be able to client facing institutions be able to use it. We also will be availing it to end clients as well. And part of the profits that we will be generating from this will go back into the community wallet. So this is something that we would like to uh, allow our community to be involved in something which is different from, I guess, a lot of the projects out there. And this is a long term, medium to long term kind of utility. It will be able to sustain the project. I mean, not just a lot of projects we see, we do see a lot of tokenomics, a lot of staking, a lot of airdrops as well. But we do see there is probably going to be a shift in the next 6 months to a year, whereby um, projects need to actually try to think about new ways to innovate. So we're actually trying to put ourselves ahead of the curve in that sense. So that's basically all I can say now. I guess in the future as well, in the next 2 3 weeks or so, we'll probably be if we when we have another AMA, I can actually show a little bit more of the demonstration of the software that we have built, and also that we have a white paper on that as well. So we'll share that in the community in the Discord. So and if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me, especially those developers out there who are interested in that. We're more than happy. We would love to hear your feedback.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, I think for sure this is just the start. We're going to have many more AMAs in the future. So I'm sure if you guys have any comments, you can ask them right now in our YouTube comments. And if not, you can keep them for the next AMA. And we're always open, we're always there. So the next question is from Ian01050. He says, "Hey teams, I want to ask what is the benefit of for the holders in the future? I think lots of people come to NFT space because they want to make a profit and get some good reward. Except the art, what would Kyoken NFT bring to us?" I toss it to the
Hi.
floor.
Okay, sure. Okay, so for this case itself, right, it's quite hard to answer it. But basically, what I see, right, what we see actually, um, is that we understand that most of the people who buy purchase an NFT, right, it tends to more because in the hope that this particular NFT will become blue chips where you rise to certain numbers of Ethereum, and after that they will sell it off and uh, solve most of some problems. For our cases itself, right, I feel that if you buy and sell itself, hoping that you raise to a certain level, our concern is more towards that is we may be trapped in a greater fool's theory where we reach a certain stage at 100 Ethereum itself, and hopefully the next person will buy for 101 Ethereum or 120 Ethereum and 130 Ethereum. And the next person will be hopefully they will buy for 200 Ethereum, etc. This I feel that this is kind of it's not very healthy cycles. Is that we always um, we reach a bottleneck, and usually the next case right is to create a different kind of products that helps to meet the lower tier of the markets that can buy a cheaper version of the NFT. You can try to fractionize it, or you can try to tokenize it, etc. I feel that this is not what our direction, but our direction is more towards put it in a metaphor. Like when you go to school itself, right? For example, the Harvards, You go to school for Harvard is not because of knowledge itself, it's majorly because of the networks in the Harvard University. Because in Harvard City University, there has a lot of people you can network with, your friends, and this eventually, when you graduate from Harvard itself, right, or any kind of schools, will help you in terms of the networks instead of the connection, etc. Just because you have a Harvard certification, yeah, it helps you to bring better jobs. It helps you to be a network. It helps you to empower you with certain kind of benefits, if possible. What our Kyoken's NFTs, we want to bring the kind of philosophy and metaphors towards it, where if you have this kind of this NFT stuff, right, you are part of the what I call this circle of community, where we will try to be helpful in terms of gathering resources, help you to get more clients, to have to get some kind of access to those kind of things. This will help you in terms of the long run. Yeah, in terms of changing your way of life, changing your way of how you handle things, etc. Because this is what I see. What we see as well is a some sort of like a certification of trust, where we understand each other philosophy, each other beliefs, and how we can move on together, rather than just put our what I call the liquidity inside the NFT, and hopefully um, it will rise and sell away. Because once you sell away, right, you don't have this kind of benefit and privilege. Yeah. So we want to try to create that. Me, would you try to sell your country citizenships just to get some benefits for certain things? I mean, it's the kind of questions. There's one cases that like for example, when you go to other countries itself, right? When, for example, my case that people wants to know that you're from Singapore, or they will say, "Oh, you are from Singapore as well." Oh, let me try to bring this around. We want to create that kind of emotional connection. Yeah, that we are in the same village, a global village. We help each other, we grow with each other, we share resources together, rather than just using it to flex it, or I would say, to get it sort of like yeah. I mean, you know what I mean, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, for sure. I think with the NFT space, we want to make sure that we're not just doing it for the clout. We're definitely there for the long run. And I love the idea of a global village. That's definitely something that we are striving for at Kyokin. The next question comes from BB Wallish. He asks us, since it's clearly a bear market, do you plan on delaying the launch by a few weeks or even maybe a month?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, and we do see there is a lot of projects that have been launched this month have unfortunately not done so
Yes.
well. I think it's really because market is taking a little bit of a breather. Fortunately for us, when we first started, we initially planned to actually launch later part of Q2. And that's reason why is because we have been building in public. As you can see, we are
Mhm.
constantly trying to improve our digital assets and also show the community and our future holders that we are serious about what we are doing. Um, we are not just here to just take the money and just do a half-hearted job. We really want to build as much as we can, even up to that point whereby when it becomes clearer, more clearer that this is a good investment. Um, and that is where we're coming from. We don't see this as a sales pitch, but rather we are trying to build a good product where people will just look at it and see that okay, this is something that uh, you could definitely want to hold for the long run. We are not, you can see, but we are not influencer kind of. We're not tagged to any influencer, or we have not tried to
Mhm.
use any paid marketing as well. So
Mhm.
I think that sets us a little bit in a disadvantage, but I think that's also good because when we build hype, that also adds some kind of pressure on building in a very
Mm.
fast to meet certain kind of demands from the community, which which in the case of like a project that you may have heard, interfaces, the founders actually stopped because they felt that they couldn't be able to do the job for their clients if they continue to with that project. So I think we feel that the best place, the best time to build is in the background, in
Mhm.
well in public, and also when there isn't much social pressure, so that Eric can produce his assets. As artists, you know that you can't pressure an artist to create masterpieces. You need time. And for myself
Yes.
as well, I'm building the project Aurelius and also the community.
Mhm.
We are starting small, as you. Some people might actually ask as well, why didn't we open up the Discord server to um, perpetually? But the reason is because I think for projects like us, we it makes sense for us to be more connected with our community. We
Mhm.
want to be able to be there. We may not be there 24/7. There'll be some days where Eric and I maybe not be there for 1 or 2 days, but we are working on the project. Sometimes we also want to encourage our community to take regular breaks. Don't be burned out
Mhm.
by this NFT space. I mean, the first few months of doing this NFT, I was like sleeping 5 hours, 4 hours because I was trying to catch all the servers to get the whitelist. So I understand how it can be very damaging on mental health and physical health as well.
Mhm.
So uh, don't worry. We want to be able to also give whitelists to eventually whitelist all our community members who are there from the very beginning. I just want to give the assurance that all of you will eventually be whitelisted for sure. It does need to be engaged. Preferably, if you get whitelisted, you don't disappear. Although I understand it's quite human nature to to concentrate on other projects. But we do hope that at least you come back every once in a while to be updated about what announcements that we have. So when it's closer to the min, you're actually in touch with what we have been doing, and it makes more sense if you were to buy something, and if you understand what's how we develop the project, what does it really mean, instead of just looking at it at a superficial level. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's where we are going. Of course, we are very open to any feedback, any comments. We are not perfect. Um, we are
Mhm.
constantly trying to improve. I think in terms of marketing, Eric is a better marketer than me. I'm more in the finance side, but we do try to see how we can engage the community through games, and we're very thankful that we have a lot of community members that have volunteered to create games, to engage, and we see and we really appreciate everything that you do. And
Mhm.
yeah, and so we are happy. We are happy with what we have been doing, and we just want to make sure that we do the best for all of you.
Thank you, Ben. I think that's very true. Sorry, Eric, do you had one something to add?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, just to add on to the Dan's answer, is that just that even though we might delay, I mean, yeah, in certain case we might be delayed, but along the way itself, while these few months itself, right, while we try to explore as well as building it, we also try to learn something as well. So you can see that this YouTube channel itself, right, we were asking ourselves that is YouTube channel can be quite a platforms to share the music as well as how can we monetize it, uh, and help it to feel back to the community, etc. We saw some uh, platforms doing the ASMR or the Pomodoro, those kind of stuff. We're wondering, can that help the community as well as help to create monetizations or create and enhance our strength on the brand itself. So it doesn't mean that we are not doing anything until the money is or maybe the material is coming in. We still be doing it even though um, the or our own spare time, just to make sure that we are learning well when it's fully funded. We can take the whole things and run as much as we can rather than just um, take the funds and build rockets. We are building a rocket now actually. Yeah, just MVP version of it. And once the whole thing is here, we can take it the whole things fly the moon. I don't know. Yeah, is it?
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Ben. I think definitely a lot of people that were joining in were very excited and enjoyed the kind of chill vibe that we have there. I had a good conversation with a couple people yesterday, so that's definitely something what we really promote here at Kyoken. It's a very real, very human. We're growing together with you guys, and we're excited to see where it goes. Moving to the next question we have from Sora Yang. They ask any exclusive partnerships that the team have in place, or is the team looking at any particular ways to expand the project's reach, not only during the initial hype, but also for the long term?
Okay, I'll take these questions.
Sure.
For partnerships wise, it's okay. Initially, we are looking at this kind of decentralizing logistics. We're trying to play around with it because I think a few months or maybe a year ago, heard about this talk from Jack Ma, from the Alibaba Jack Ma. He was mentioning about this kind of manufacturing systems where for right now, right, is if your factory has the capacity to produce about 10,000 or 20,000 SKU itself, right, you are considered as a king of the or maybe the newbie, yeah, of this whole system stuff. But in the future itself, right, you have the capacity to just produce one SKU and still make a profit out of it, right? That should be the way. Yeah. So that's the kind of thoughts, right? Keep me going is that one SKU. I see the recent trend is that people don't really not don't like the millennials itself, the luxury products itself, right? They try to have this kind of unique personalities applies to their products. And for a factory to produce one unique product, right, is can create a lot
Mhm.
of wasteful resources, it's
Mhm.
wasteful logistic, etc. So I was toying with the idea for the past few years, was toying with ideas about desktop factory, where fab labs, etc., where people or maybe the artist or craftsman itself, right, is able to what I call producing a small quantity but at a unique level. The cost may be high, but it gives a sense of durability, quality that each each every one of us will go for it. I'm quite a fan of Patagonia. Yeah, so this kind of thoughts and how to minimize the resources, trying to make um, goodness out of it, right? Should be the right directions. So in terms of partnership stuff, right, we are not looking at those kind of like like brands and the Nike or things like that. We hope
Mhm.
to work with artisans, like like
Mm.
like even for beers itself, right? We would like to work with um, crafts beer or craft sodas or this kind of artisan stuff because we want to empowering them. Going back to the initial notion, we want to empower these artisans that that uh, by using we verify their quality and these are verified by Kyoken. It's something like Michelin. Yeah, this product is being verified and these top-notch products. And if your NFT has these characters as this is being applied to this particular product itself, and maybe this is under beer, you can share it, for example. Yeah. So for in terms of partnership, right, we are looking at artisan level that
Mhm.
maybe a small, very small quantity products, but is in a very higher quality as a very unique kind of having different smaller niches, um, etc. Because for example, like I went to the backpacking trip. I went to the Osaka. There's a Kojima Street. Okay, Kojima Street is a whole street is selling jeans. Yeah, so Ibisu was I think it was coming from there before. Yeah, so
Mhm.
Kojima is those handmade jeans material. There's a lot of tailor over there. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I like those kind of unique kind of things or manufacturing
Mhm.
systems that helps to hold this particular merchandise in a much meaningful way. Yeah, so once they purchase the whole merchandise, something like Patagonia, once they purchase it, right, they can resell it at a higher price because it's or because of its quality, they can last longer as well as uniqueness of this merchandise itself. Yeah. So just where the Kyokers stand by is to empowering the artisans, and these are the potential partnership we're looking at. Actually, based on my context itself, right, we're looking at those kind of craft beer as well as ice cream. Yeah, beer and ice cream
Oh wow.
works well for Asia. Yeah, works well for Asia. Yeah, so this is something that we try to to experiment with. Yeah, yep.
Cool. Thank you, thank you, Eric. That kind of reminds me of the quote, "A rising tide lifts all boats." So I definitely think that we can all learn and grow from this. So that's really cool. I'm excited to hear that the collaboration will be with ice cream. The next question we have from Sora Yang is, I understand that Community Wallet will be used to procure valued NFT items to build a project long term and benefit holders. Will there be a token issued for holders to cash out some liquidity or recoup some costs while still holding on to the Kyoken Genesis NFT for long term?
That's a very good question. Also, I think that's why whether the question whether we have a token, I think the answer is in our name, Kyoken. So the answer is I guess quite clear. We will definitely want to have a token, but I think it will definitely not be at the early stage. We want to build value. So I think because if there's no value for no utility to the project itself, having a token it's not going to make a lot of sense. I think like Yoga Labs is after they acquired Cyber CryptoPunks, then they decided that they want to issue 8 coins. So I think that's where they realized to build a value and then create a coin,
Mhm.
a currency, that makes sense. So in the future, yes, and also as if you look at the roadmap, we do have we actually added timelines to each of the verticals that we are planning to do. Some of the verticals like Project Aurelius is probably going to take 1 to 2 years, and we don't expect holders to, with especially with liquidity at this point in time uh, being quite tight. We don't expect everyone to basically be long term. We hope so, but of course, in reality, we understand there'll be movement. So in the meantime, we will be utilizing the community wallet to be investing into projects that we feel are undervalued and are very promising blue chip kind of projects. We're not going to be investing in too much into um, early projects. I think that's to ensure that there is we don't want to be burning community wallets. And I mean, as a financial person, uh, I'm more conservative as well, especially when dealing with clients' money or community money. So we definitely want to be open about what we're going to be doing. We want to generate alpha. If there's any of these projects do create some kind of value to the community, we'll be giving all back to the community. So at least there is something that they can is tangible for them to actually see in the short to medium term. I think maybe one point which I'd like to address, I'm not sure whether anyone have asked, but we actually are utilizing part of the community wallet to create a foundation, a social impact
Mm,
foundation. Of
cool.
course, we would love to donate to a charity, and I think that's what a lot of projects do, and we would love to do that as well. But because from our experience, I think charities are I mean, they are well funded. I mean, not all well funded, but they can be funded through donations from other foundations as well. But social enterprises are are also giving back to the community, and they are generally also profit driven. But they are profit driven to the extent that they want to continue to sustain and provide back to the community, so they can hire people with disabilities, with autism, or who are yellow ribbon. I mean, those who have made mistakes past in their life, and then they are unable to get back into work. So we have seen a lot of these social enterprises which are struggling because they are unable to receive donations. And that's where we come in, because we want to be able to, we feel that it's a win-win if we are able to help those social enterprises to grow. And we also get some kind of financial return. It can be through equity or through financial instrument. I think it returns back to the community. So at least it's not like a one-way donation. We help, yet the community will continue to be able to support these social enterprises. So there's some. Um, I feel that's where we can actually add value. And I come from a space where I'm also quite well linked to a lot of these social enterprises. I'm one of the fellows of one of the, I believe it's a government link agency in Singapore. So I do see a lot of these projects and a lot of these enterprises. So yeah, so that's where we like to see how we can help. So yeah, so in short, basically long, short utility, long utility. We try to cover the whole spectrum. In the short term, definitely, what the community loves is always being able to um, see returns. So whenever there is a opportunities to basically buy and sell certain kind of NFTs for the community, we will do so, and yeah, and then we will continue to build along the way. Thank you.
Uh, thank you so much, Ben. That I think that's really important that we are also not only we're building inwards, we're building outwards. We're trying to impact, make some significant changes in our community as well as in the hopefully long term global scale. That brings us to the end of our AMA. That questions that we had from our Discord channel. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the YouTube section. So far, I think everyone just seems excited to be here. So, if Ben or Eric have anything they want to add or anything that they want to talk about, we'll leave it, toss it to you guys before we wrap it up.
Okay, time for music. Do you have?
Maybe I'd like to just do a shout out to the community. I think they have been fantastic. Um,
Definitely.
and they have always been engaged. We do see quite a number of familiar names that are always popping up. We also see a lot of new names as well. So um, we are always trying to be there as much as we can. We try to pop in almost every day. So do just reach out to us. Don't be shy. You can, if you feel like you want to speak to us one on one, you can always create a ticket, or you can DM us. Of course, be conscious of security because we are also seeing a lot of scams nowadays. So just
Yes.
ensure that we are not going to be doing any stealth mint. If you see something suspicious going on in the server or on Twitter, please let us know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to jeopardize anyone uh, wallets for anything. So just always be safe. Like, always take care of yourself.
Yes, I think that's really important, especially just reading from the community. We want to make sure we're looking out for each other. I think that's really important. Um, I don't see any questions as of now at the YouTube questions, but like I said, this will probably be the first of many AMAs, so no worries. We'll definitely be looking forward to more questions that will come from this one that we had today. So I just want to say thank you so much to Eric and Ben and for sharing their wisdom and their insight as well as their passion and really letting their heart out on this stage. Also, thank you to everyone who joined us. I do see everyone very excited, very happy, and I know some might be sleeping, some might be awake, but we're grateful for whoever has joined. And we see you and we appreciate you. As since this is the end of nearing the end of our AMA, as promised, there's a special prize for those who have stayed on. I don't know if Ben or Eric want to kind of reveal that.
Yeah, so I think we want to leave it open. So if anyone who is listening to this recording, and probably if you are listening, hopefully then fast forward to the end, we will be giving out whitelists to three lucky people who have listened to us. So if you can just drop me a DM, and then I'll just ask you some basic questions to see whether you have been paying attention, and yeah, so yeah, so yeah, feel free to drop me a DM. You know my my handle. So hope to hear from you soon.
Yes, and I have also been keeping a close eye, so I will definitely back up any claims. So I see you. I appreciate you guys. Eric, do you have any closing words?
I'm all good actually.
Okay, sounds good. Uh, just want to thank you all for joining us today. Really excited for this space to continue to grow, and we'll see you in our next AMA. Please make sure to follow us on Twitter, Kyoken Lab on Twitter, as well as on YouTube, and where you guys are already watching this. So we're Kyoken Music Station on YouTube and Kyoken Lab on Twitter. It's on the ticker tape on the screen right now. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Eric and Ben, for having me as well. This is very exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
hosting this.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.